back into the material we've been looking at in money moments. Let me see if you can see that. Income, savings, assets, cash flow, income, savings, assets, cash flow. Jose Ramos is saying a delegate for June. Let's talk. But you also need a break. Income, savings, assets, cash flow. Okay. So this is what it is. These are the fundamentals of personal financial growth. You get an income. How do you get an income? You solve problems. You shall be compensated according to the value that you bring to the market. The more problems you solve, the more money you make. And then out of that income you save. The only money that's really yours is the money you saved. Last week we talked about Toji Kwatako or Batozi Kwatako. The only money that's really yours is the money that you save to invest. Everything else you're simply paying other people's money. And then we go to assets. Out of your savings you purchase assets, and you know you have a good asset when it can produce cash flow. Good assets produce cash flow, bad assets don't produce cash flow, they produce nothing. And then that cash flow from those assets becomes new income, and then you go through the cycle again. I hope you have understood that. I've been making that point for many weeks now. So income, savings, assets, cash flow. Income, savings, assets, cash flow. Income, savings, assets, cash flow. Yes, interliners, those are the fundamentals of personal finance. Anyone who conquers those four areas, nothing can stop you as far as your personal financial management is concerned. So with income, we say that the more problems you solve for the right people, the more profit you make. If you solve problems for the wrong people who can't pay you, you're going to remain broke even as you work so hard. Okay? Thanks, Daniel. Good to see you. You have to understand how to create an income. Making money is not difficult. You just solve problems. That's all you do. Teachers solve knowledge problems. Doctors solve health problems. Lawyers solve legal problems. Yeah. People solve problems, make money. If you are the problem, I don't know whether you're going to make money. So all you do is solve problems, and you'll make money. Your focus should never be actually to make money. Your focus should be to serve people, to solve people's problems. Once you establish yourself as a very valuable problem solver, you have more money than you can handle. Okay. And out of your income, you save. What happens to money that you don't save? It goes up in flames in something called expenses. Okay? It's right there in that corner. Those are expenses. It's gone, man. It's gone. You will never get wealthy from spending. You will never get wealthy from spending. Expenses, it's gone. Like I sent the book in the Straightforward Financial Growth book, and by the way, if you haven't got that book yet, I don't know where you live, but we can get it to you. Once you make a call, you'll get it within an hour. That's our delivery promise. You get your SFFG book within an hour once you call us. So, expenses. So like we say in the book, some of you operate what we call the chwai economy, yeah? So imagine you put a pan on the fire and it gets really hot, and then you pour some water into it. What happens? All you see is vapor. So that's what's been happening to some of your personal economies. The money never settles down to do anything significant or to be invested. By the time it lands, it is hot. Your economic system is hot. You've borrowed to the rafters. You have too many. When the money lands on your account, there are too many deductions. Car, mortgage, uncle, loan shark, furniture. It's gone. You never get to feel it. The money never registers its presence with you. Why? The moment it landed, you win. But let's say you gain wisdom and you do what I said. You start setting aside 20% of all your income to purchase assets. That 20% is your savings, and the point of savings is to purchase assets. Okay? If you save for a rainy day, you will get a rainy day. If you save to purchase assets, you will purchase assets. What makes you a wealthy person is to have assets that cash flow. So since this is my last thing until July, let me lean into that a little bit. Assets that produce cash flow. Assets that produce cash flow. Our challenge is that all of us, we want assets that are quotable, things we can touch and feel, like your home. And somehow, from when we've been, from when we've grown up, we've been sold this idea that the most important thing you do once you get out of uni and start working is buy a piece of land and build a home. Now, I'm not against that. In fact, it has a lot of social capital behind it, but it's actually not a smart investment decision. The writer in Proverbs says that prepare your outside work and afterwards build your house. Prepare your outside work and afterwards build your house. When you build your house, that's not an asset that produces cash flow. Okay, it's an asset that you actually have to keep spending money on to be able to stay there. Okay, so we built a home. It's still under construction. But I stopped tabulating when I reached like 350 million of expenses on the house. So let's say with some value gain and all of that, it's about 400 million, okay? What does it do for me? I sleep there. That's about it. It's a great asset as far as social capital is concerned, but it's not a great economic asset. Because if I can tell you what I can do with 400,000, if you just stick with me, rather 400 million. So let's say I find an investment that gives me only 12% per annum. That's like very average, like not even really good pushy investment. But let's say I want completely low risk. So I get a 12% per annum asset, like a bond or unit trust or treasury bill, something. 12% per annum from 400 million is going to be 48 million. 48 million divided by 12 will give me 4 million a month. 4 million a month, if I take off 1.5 million a month, I will be able to rent a really good place to stay at 1.5 million. Okay? So I'll be left with 2.5 million. 2.5 million times 12 is going to be 30 million. Okay? 30 million. For my 3 kids, I'll be able to pay school fees and all the other school fees requirements for the whole year from beginning to end, including transport. So in other words, this one asset can give me cash flow for finding a place to stay and taking care of my children's studies. But now it's a home. So the only problem I'm going to have is that all my uncles and aunties are going to be saying, Bananga, what happened to our son? Things went wrong. He doesn't even have a home. But it's not a really great economic decision if you ask me. So these are things that, with hindsight and a little bit of this and that, you start seeing that you could have done it differently. So again, income, savings, assets, cash flow. And today I'm leaning into assets. So first of all, every one of you should be able to tell your net worth. How do you tell your net worth? Write down all the assets you have and attach their value. You are not a really great steward of God's resources if you don't know the value of the assets you have. If you have a piece of land in Bolindo, you attach its value. Farmland in Ruero, attach the value. Everything. All your assets, you should be able to list them down and attach the economic value to those assets. And then you get the total. That's the total asset value that you have. And then on the other side of the paper, so what you do, you divide your paper into 2. On the left hand, you write down all your assets. On the right hand, you write down all your liabilities, money you owe. that you must pay to continue to enjoy life in the Republic of Uganda. So that's loans, bank loans, mortgages, unpaid taxes, unpaid school fees, unpaid this, and that. So you list down all your liabilities in the right-hand side, all your assets on the left, and then you do total value of assets minus total value of liabilities will give you your net worth. And as a good steward, one, you should know your net worth. Two, you should be growing your net worth. There is a story in the Bible that talks about 3 guys who were given some assets to manage. Okay, so one was given 10 talents. Talents are units of currency. They are not units of giftedness. Talents are not units of giftedness. They are units of currency. One was given 10 talents, 1 5, 1 2. No, one was given 5, 1 2, and 1 1. According to their ability. So all of you, God gives you according to your ability. And then they came and checked on them. The one of 5 had multiplied it to 10, one of 2 had multiplied it to 4. The one of 1 had not increased their asset value at all. And the results were not so good. So as a believer, you might want to know that there is a heavenly expectation for you to increase the value of your assets consistently. It's not even a game. Okay, it's quiet in here. So, you can't be that person whose asset value is the same every year. You are like that guy of the 1 talent. But worse, a lot of the people in church don't even know the value of the assets they're in charge of. So how can you multiply or grow what you don't know? Okay. So remember, the purpose of your 20% you're saving is to grow your assets. Okay. Now, how do you know that you have a good asset? What differentiates a good asset from a bad asset? What differentiates a good asset from a bad asset is return on investment. It's cash flow. Like Robert Kiyosaki says, cash flow is king. This is what separates a good asset from a bad asset. A bad asset doesn't bring cash flow. A good asset puts money into your account. That is a good asset. How do you know you have a good asset? Ping, ping, ping. Money is pinging your account. Whether that's once a year, once a quarter, once a month, once a week, once a day, many times a day, it doesn't matter. A good asset is one that brings money into your wallet, into your account. A bad asset is one that takes money out of your account. Like you have to spend money to maintain it. Some of you have those kind of assets where you're always battling squatters, you know that works. So those are bad assets. Good assets bring money to your wallet. Bad assets take money out of your wallet. Good assets bring money to your wallet. Bad assets take money out of your wallet. Good assets bring money to your wallet. Bad assets take money out of your wallet. Never forget that. Good assets produce cash flow. Bad assets produce debt. So, that's how you know you have landed on a good asset. Okay, so what I said, okay, this is the detailed, like, actionable part. Now, this is the theory about wealth creation. You get it, you keep it, and you grow it. And what I like to say, for you to know that you're on track, is just do a 20%. Just do a 20% on each side of that triangle. Okay? Get it? What's the 20%? Make sure your income is increasing by 20% every single year. Make sure your income is increasing by 20% every year, as a bare minimum. As a bare minimum. If you made 100 last year, you have to make 120 this year. If you make 120 this year, you have to make, that will be around 120, 20% of 120 is what, 24. That will be 140 for next year, like that. Okay. So 20% increase in your income every year, and then you know the golden rule here. You have to save at least 20%. Keep at least 20% of all your income. And once you invest it in assets that are growing it, make sure you're growing by minimum 20% per annum. Your asset value has to grow by 20% per annum. That's very, very important. That's very important. That's how you grow your wealth. You grow it by 20%. In other words, make sure your return on investment is hovering around the 20 percentage mark. Now some of you are going to say, okay, how on earth do you do that? You do that by using some of your income from different places to top up on your return on investment in your different investment climates. So first of all, you should make sure that you're in very, very many different investment clubs that specialize in different assets, because that's how you're able to spread your risk. Let me teach you something that I teach in my masterminds. So let's say this is low risk, low return. Then you have medium risk, medium return, then high risk, high return. So this could be about 60%, maybe 30%, 10%. So this is how you manage your risk. Oops, I hope you can read that. Let me see if I can place it better. Okay, I hope you can read that. So you have low risk, low return asset category, medium risk, medium return asset category, and high risk, high return asset category. Okay, so when you're trying to buy assets, you make sure that you have in each category have some low risk, low return. That should be the majority of your assets, so that if there is a problem and you lose your investment, your low risk, low return investments should stay solid and they're there. That's mainly real estate. Like they say, buy land, they no longer make it. Buy land, they no longer make it. The population on earth is increasing at an increasing rate. The available land is fixed. Okay, if you don't buy land, you are not being wise. So real estate, land, buildings, that's low risk, low return. So I like to tell people, if you are a well-rounded investor who doesn't want to jump into risky ventures and all of that, make sure you have like 60% of your asset category in low risk, low return, and then 30% medium risk, medium return. Low risk, low return will be something that's giving you 0 to 9% return on investment per annum. Medium risk, medium return will be about 10 to maybe 20, 19% return on investment. High risk, high return is above 20%. And that's main. So low risk, low return, that's going to be mainly real estate in our context. Medium risk, medium return is going to be mainly financial instruments, bonds, treasury bills, unit trust funds, and others. And then high risk, high return is going to be equity in businesses where, you know, someone is starting their line of Rolex stands, you invest. Border what, you invest. Transport business, you invest. Restaurant, you invest. That's equity. So business equity is high risk, high return. So once you spread out like that, let's say if you lost all your high risk, high return assets, but it's only 10%, you still have 90% to bounce back from. So that's why I call this the foolproof guide to investing. 60, 30, 10. Or you could go 50, 35, 15 if you like a little bit more risk. If you are really, really a risky person, don't take more than 20% in high risk. So you could do 20, 30, 50. Yeah, but that's about it. So I think that's all I can share with you today. I don't know if you have any questions, comments, complications. In the absence of which, it means we'll next see you around 2nd July, I believe. And I hope Money Moments has been a blessing to you. Right? And will you be here when you come back 2nd July, or will you have moved on? Write something for me. Write something for me. Give me that blue button, Buzz, if you're there. Just let me know you're there. Sorry, today I'm speaking low tone because my voice actually hurts. That's why I need the break. So it's actually painful just to speak because I do a lot of speaking. So that's why I always need this media break. And in June and in December, I always take a break just to recover. My main asset, which is my voice, needs a break. Whoever thought when we were young we would just shout? No one would ever know that the voice can get to a point where you need recovery mechanisms for it. But here I am. Then I was young. Now I'm older. Not old, older. Thank you so much, Dixon Mushabe, for always sharing these videos on your YouTube page. I appreciate it so much. And thank you also for the Dolphin Fund. I saw you've started a Dolphin Fund to help people who just want to give to good causes. So guys, please look up the Dolphin Fund online. It's been set up by Dixon Mushabe. It's very important. I know many of you, you're very wealthy people, you're looking for good places to give money. You can go to the Dolphin Fund. That's a good place where you can find worthy causes you can donate to. We should be givers. Let's be radical givers. Let's stop depending on Wazungu. Let's be radical. Thanks, Onyaito Deke, for always sharing this and giving us great ideas. We know we are improving the whole thing, and so I appreciate it so much. Yep, I'm going to put my kataka to work this time around. Yeah, someone has got the idea. Don't let your assets lie around when they're not producing cash flow, because soon someone will come and buy them when you need the cash flow. Yep. Thank you, Joy Mirembe. You've always been very supportive and you always guide people to this wisdom. I appreciate. Yeah, thanks, Sydney. Yes, looking forward to seeing you all in July. July is going to be hot as we continue to build on this knowledge. Whatever you do something with this information. The information itself will never change your life. It's what you do with it that's important. So God bless you so much. Maximum respect.